served this country is maybe suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and he get in some trouble, he shouldn't have to go to before the same court that somebody who ain't never been nothing but a criminal out here on the streets. And we should encourage and embrace him in a different way, I perceive. I'm for large, small, and minority businesses across the board. I'm for the decriminalization of small amounts of marijuana. I don't think we should be getting our youth or anybody else any charges for dime bags. I don't go with that. But most importantly, I'm for the state of Maryland joining the class action lawsuit against Narvin and Sally Mae and Mac in reference to student loans. Narvin got 12 million student loans that they didn't negotiate, pay off on, and Barack Obama, when he was our president for 8 years, told them to negotiate. And Sally Mack got 16 million that they don't negotiate on. I'm for our Attorney General joining that class action lawsuit. Thank you.
Okay. So I mean, the first thing that really stands out to me is, so you want to make voting easier.
Yes, sir.
For people, and so you think that if it's easier, then more people will participate.
Yes, sir.
Well, that probably goes against the people that are trying to suppress the vote. They don't want it to be easier; they want it to be harder for people to vote. Yeah.
Correct.
So.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. What would you say that most of the people that I come in contact with that don't vote feel that their vote does not count? Mm-hmm. So I think that's the reason why they do it. What would you say to the person that feels that their vote doesn't count?
Thank you. I'll say this here. 82% of the registered voters in my 40th legislative district do not vote. That's the registered voters. That has nothing to do with the people who just don't even want to register. 82%. I said there are four reasons people who usually don't vote decide to vote. The first one is fear, anger, frustration, and hatred. And the bottom line is, I say, if you don't plan to vote, pick a reason and vote for the common good of the 40th legislative district. But most of all, vote for your own self-interest. Don't let those four reasons that impede the vote keep you from not even voting for your own self-interest. And you got to be personable enough to have a self-interest.
Yeah, I think that this election year, if people don't realize the importance and the necessity of voting now, they never will, because it is imperative that we get out to vote now.
Well, I think it goes back to something that you said earlier, Mr. Mercer. I think it's about getting them early. So if you can we can instill that in the younger people. Just like we instill anything else, just like they watch TV or just like they do any of the other learned behaviors. If you instill that in them early, then it's just something that just comes, naturally. But I think it got lost somewhere along the way.
That's interesting, because when you guys were younger, you used to go to the polling place with us. Mm-hmm. We was on
at the recreation center. Hilton Recreation, yeah. Right,
and they went so early that when they started voting, then they would ask, "Is your father coming? When's your father coming up here, Dwayne?" They knew us by name. They knew all of my kids by name, because that was inculcated in them. So yeah.
But I think a lot of people have gotten discouraged because, like you mentioned, with the two incidents of the popular vote not electing the persons, some people have pointed to that and said, "See, my vote didn't count."
But see, you know what? See, that gives...
These are the younger ones.
Right. And that gives more credence to vote and to get involved like you have. He got mad and said, I need to run. I need to do something about this. And the point is that when you get involved, you start to see, wait a minute, these people are not as smart as I thought they were. This guy, he's the senator. He's my congressman. That encourages people. They say, wait a minute, I know I'm smarter than him. Now this is the reason that Trump ran. They felt that Obama, he got to be president. Yeah, so they want to run. So you watch and see how many businessmen start to gonna try to run for president.
Yeah, that's true.
In 2020.
But I want to tell you this here also, that they ask the question many times, say, why we have such a problem with our teenagers and the murder rate in the city. And my understanding is first of all, nobody is born knowing how to be a responsible gun owner, and nobody is born knowing how to be a killer. Those are learned behaviors.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely right. The 40th district, where is that exactly?
I'll give you the best I can on the balance. North to south on Park Heights is Virginia Avenue. Go to your east, Green Spring Avenue into Park Circle. On the west, Western Maryland Railroad or the subway line. It comes all the way to Drew Park Lake Drive into Mount Royal Street. Mount Royal in 83 there, North Avenue. Come back up North Avenue all the way down to Hilton and North.
This is a big district. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Then it goes out all the way down to Monroe Street to Wilkins Avenue. It takes Wilkins Avenue all the way out past St. Agnes to Southwest Boulevard. And it stops on the east side at Madison Avenue. Huge district.
Yes. What's something, when you've been out speaking with people, what's something that's just a reoccurring concern of the citizens of the 40th?
Not believing that our political system is working towards the greater good of our citizenry. And when I say that, I mean people really has very, very low expectations for what they want to see manifest itself, and that is a huge problem. They talk about jobs, yet nobody's accountable for $200 million Hawkins builders got in just the Northwest side on who's working, who's watching the money, on who's watching the minority contractors and see if they are white women, Mexicans, or Guatemalans, or black. Who's watching whom? No accountability.
Yeah. Well, the education system, I think before we can even get to the curriculum, we have to get the money part together. That accountability part has gone amok.
Something everybody would say, most people say, even educators say, the money's not the problem. The money's not the problem. They'll say the money's not the problem.
They'll say that, yeah.
But I'm going to tell you something. The money is the problem because the money is the problem for sure, but what is the bigger problem is who's in charge of the curriculums. Hogan wants to take that over. I've been in Baltimore City since we had Patterson was the school superintendent. I think he was like one of the first black ones we had. Been through Alice Penny Hughes. I've been through a whole lot of superintendents.
That's the only one I remember.
Yeah, but I tell you that they ought to have prepared themselves to educate black people, black children in a segregated system. Because until you accept that, nothing's going to change.
But what I find the basic problem is that we can't depend on the school system to really educate the children. It starts at home. The parents have to prepare the children with the basic fundamentals. Like, for instance, that you talked about knowing your history. That comes from the home. Having respect for yourself and your citizens. Going to school to learn what they have to give you, so the basic fundamentals, we have to do that at home. My children all went to Baltimore City schools, and they range from radio hosts and had their own programs, and from doctors. I mean they've gone around the world, and so it's up to us to teach her. And you said earlier that in our community, in our generation, we failed this generation, and so we've got to make up. And I'm glad that you're running, because you realize we got to make up, and it's up to us. And it's Mr. Mercer, it's now or never.
I concur.
Right. So we've got to jump on the bandwagon, and I know that you mentioned earlier that in Baltimore, what is the average percentage of votors?
17%. 17% of registered voters.
17% what?
Votes. The other
17%.
Other 82, 83% don't vote. That's registered.
Yeah.
So that's,
registered.
I mean, that should be, it should be a complete flip. Should be 82% voting, 17% not voting.
And that's the truth.
So you mean whoever gets elected, whoever wins this,
It's only 17%.
17% of the people in Baltimore City going to have elected.
Last election was 17%. Straight up.
Now see, that's, but see,
That's appalling.
yeah, and you got a big territory. I guess you got to go door to door. You got a big territory.
Yeah. So that's it's.
Wow.
Are there any other debates before Election Day? Y'all getting down to the wire now.
Yes, it's a few more before Election Day, but they got those. They emailed them to me, which I don't have with me. But it's getting down to the wire. But I'm gonna tell you something. If you within my if you were auditorily within my voice this evening, I talk with you about the math of it. Organized people. We must. If you are one of 200 or one of 50 persons listening to me tonight, I want you to give me a call, because I can say something to you which I must say before I leave here this evening that's important to you. But my phone number is 443-762-5804, and I can assure you that if we could just talk for a minute, we'll be on the same page, because the things, the policies and the issues that I'm proposing, we will unite on them being right.
Well, one thing is for sure, Hogan's not gonna give out his phone number. The man said, "Call me." He said, "I'm running for office. You call me, and we can talk about this." I mean, that's powerful now. Give me your number out again.
443-762-5804.
Okay, and of course, Election Day here in Maryland is June 26th.
And early voting starts June the 14th.
Wow, that's next week.
Yeah. So we're gonna be having Election Day coverage on the 26th, and then we'll be here that night. But this is gonna be an interesting race. I really hope that people get out and vote, because it's very important.
I hope we can beat that 17%.
I pray we do, but I want to say something to you. I mentioned in my literature that if you decide to give me your support, to single shoot, because you can vote for 3 persons. But if you vote for myself and 2 incumbents, for the most part, I'm going to be the odd dog out. I lose. This is why I have to be specific in what I say.
Why do you lose?
Because they got their own voters, and their own voters aren't going to vote for me.
So I want to break this part down, so make sure people understand why he says that.
Right.
So if you look at the ballot, right? You know how on the ballot sometimes, let's pretend this is the ballot, it'll be, this person versus this person. In the delegate portion, there are multiple candidates that you can vote for within that one category.
It'll read at the top, vote for 3.
Right, and so you'll be, so you have some towards the middle to the end of the ballot. You can pick one, and they'll still have spaces for you to pick additional people.
Correct.
So what he's trying to tell everyone is that certain candidates have like their whole clique. You know what I'm saying?
They run on the ticket.
The clique.
It's called. They're gonna be on the same ticket.
You know what I mean? If it was me, you, and Travis, vote for Dwayne, Dwight, and Travis. This is our clique. So I'm campaigning for you. You're campaigning for me. We're campaigning for Travis.
So are you saying if I vote for Travis and we on the ticket, all 3 of us get in?
No, I'm saying you have to. When we are running and we are campaigning, we're campaigning collectively. So
Covered and posed.
yes, so we're collectively running.
But Mr. Mercer said that if you vote for 2 of them and vote for him,
right,
he still won't get credit for it.
I lose.
I don't understand why you said that word.
I can elaborate.
I mean, but usually they don't break up the mix.
I can elaborate. There you be. And you just said, but I'm going to elaborate on. You say usually they don't break up the mix.
That's true.
Now I'm going to give you something. We got about 3 or 4 individuals running for governor, right?
Yeah.
Easy. Maybe 8.
Yeah.
Every one of those in the city is going to have a ticket. They're going to have somebody that they are backing underneath them for lieutenant governor, for state senate, for Congress, for the House. You know what I'm saying? So all of them are they're not just gonna put their people together. They're gonna put their money together so they can maintain status quo. This is how status quo maintains itself. They work together on what they're gonna do, and they put together tickets so we can cover the polls properly and galvanize the votes together.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
This is why I'm saying, if you work with me, give me a separate vote. And I really don't mind if I don't get but 1,000, but if you give me 1,000 votes separately and we can work together collectively, then we will. If we don't win this time, we don't galvanize power this time, then we could do it the next time. I'm telling those persons who are within the auditory understanding that let's start this election and let's keep it going for the elections to come. Then we'll be about the manifested change that is necessary.
Okay.
All
right, Mr. Mercer.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna give you the last word, sir.
I want to say this to you. I want to say thank you for the invite.
Absolutely.
Radio on Fire, good brother. Thank you for the invite. I appreciate your charisma. I appreciate it. I want to say to the 40th Legislative District voters that, again, my name is Timothy Mercer. I'm running for the House of Delegates in the 40th Legislative District. I want your support. Please call me at the number I gave you. I wrote this up for us and our families because it's critical thinking and it's truth. And it reads, Oath Towards Empowerment. And by the way, my slogan is, I'm concerned about your concern. It was given to me by a senior citizen who's long been gone, but her name was Elsie Bumry, an excellent giant of a lady. And I wrote this up for us. It reads, Oath Towards Empowerment. It reads, in the United States, there is only two means to obtain power: organized people or organized money. These two are the only means by which power can be yielded in a capitalist society. In order to have a seat at the decision-making table, it is imperative that this be perceived. My objective is to organize just 200 good citizens who believe that elaboration, talking about it, collaboration, working on it together, resolve all problems. These citizens will affirm that what we need to be successful would be 200 strategic, critical thinking, decentralized, micromanaged advocates who understands that organizational capacity must not be compromised in his or her effort just to organize 50 votes, of which 8 should be absentee voters, the other 42 should be early voters. It is your obligation to create a pre-existing relationship with your neighbor, high school, church, seniors, community groups, and other organizations in your district. And we must offer reinforcers that are meaningful to the voter. Parenthesis, charisma. Good morning. Have a nice day. You look nice today. God bless you. Charisma costs us nothing. It is important, brothers and sisters, that you stay under the radar. But understand, brothers and sisters, I need you to want to be an advocate. However, brothers and sisters, you must believe that you are an advocate. I want to thank you for your ear, and I pray for your sincere heart, and I beg you for your vote. God bless you.
And Mr. Mercer, why don't you leave your number one more time? Say your number. My
number again is 443-762-5804. Please call me, please.
Okay. All right. Taking it grassroots.
Yeah. Which he has to.
Yeah. So as I said, we're going to be doing election day coverage on the 26th, and we're going to end out that evening with me and Dad. But during the day, we're going to have election coverage all day. So I definitely wish you luck in this race. This is a very important election that we're going through right now, and it's going to be capped off in November. So
let me say something about Mr. Mercer. I did not know Mr. Mercer when he came in, and then when we realized I met Mr. Mercer about 40 years ago. He was an entrepreneur, and I was an entrepreneur with a restaurant. So I said I knew that face, but he's been in the grassroots. He's been doing for the people, setting examples. Because I'm saying 40 years ago he was at Harbor Place. Let me tell you, Harbor Place in downtown Baltimore.
So y'all met during the early Reagan administration, or y'all met during the Carter administration?
That's Jimmy Carter.
Okay,
Jimmy
so
Carter.
79, 78. Okay.
And Jimmy Carter. And then when you talk about segregation in schools, see he can remember how we watched television in the 1970s and watched what was going on in Boston. Remember when they were integrating those schools in Boston?
Yes.
Remember they were spitting and beating black kids going on buses, lined up. And so we have to keep remembering these things, that this is for us. We've got to vote. This is our gang. This is our group. We got to vote and get power and give it to the right people.
Absolutely.
I want to say something that I always stuck with me, and I give you 3 quotes from the Dr. Martin Luther King, and my favorite one is amongst one of those 3. Dr. Martin Luther King said, "If you call to be a street sweeper, sweep the streets like Beethoven composed, like Shakespeare wrote poetry, like Michelangelo painted." He said, "Sweep the streets so well that the hosts of heaven and earth will pause and say, 'Here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well.'"
That's powerful.
But another one. This is Trayvon Martin and Freddie Gray. Dr. Martin Luther King said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. If you tolerate injustice, it's going to knock on your door." You know. But my favorite statement by the Dr. Martin Luther King is this one. He said, "Nothing pains some people more than having to think." He was talking about us. We got to think more seriously about these things that we're involved in.
Y'all better call Brother Mercer. He got a message for y'all. He gave you his phone number. Call him. I'm glad he came.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, a lot of the people in your district are going to be at the White Party this Sunday. You might need to come there and pass out some literature. This is going to be at Drew Hill Park Sunday. So
I got some white clothes.
White Party. We're gonna be streaming. We're gonna be streaming live from the White Party Sunday, 5 to 10 p.m. As I said, the Parks Mansion House lawn. Definitely thank you, fellas.
Yes.
You've been dropping some knowledge on me and the listeners.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
So we'll be back next week.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
He ended it strong. I like that. You ended it strong, man.
Thank you, boy.
He said, "Quote Martin."
Hey, I know.